Social media is obviously one of the most important marketing tools for any fashion photographer, but it's been a while since I spoke about how I'm currently using my social media. So let me give you an update today on exactly what I am doing in 2024 with social media as a professional fashion photographer. Let's start with the first and everyone's love to hate or favorite platform, Instagram. The first thing that I have been doing pretty much for the last few years with Instagram is posting to my grid very infrequently, but very intentionally. I like to treat my Instagram profile just the same way that I do my website, in that I only really share the absolute most important work that I create on my grid. I'm always going through the archive of my work and checking what I don't need there anymore, what I no longer want to be sharing, and I do archive posts fairly frequently. I'd say I go through my grid every 3 months or so, just scroll through and ask myself, does this still represent what I want to be showcasing to the world? But I know what you're thinking, like, why would I do that? Why do I need to scroll through all of my old posts? Surely people aren't scrolling that far back. Well, actually, they do, and I didn't realize this, but it turns out art directors, producers, marketing directors, they do go back and look through your work. And sure, you can leave all your old work behind and there, but I think that it almost can degrade the rest of your portfolio. So, whilst it's nice to have those memories of how far you've come, it isn't always going to be showcasing your best foot forward. And that is what your external portfolio really should be, both on your website and your Instagram. So I prefer to archive my work so that I can still look back at those memories, remember how far I've come, and see the old work that I still love very much but doesn't represent what I'm doing anymore, and that way it doesn't actually get deleted. Stories is where I'm definitely showing up the most, and I post to my stories pretty much every single day. I share behind the scenes of my life, I share projects I'm working on, I share behind the scenes from shoots, I will post little snippets of my day, and I like to look at stories as the place that people who are following me can stay up to date with me rather than my work. I also obviously do share work updates there still, and I treat stories very much the same way that I kind of always have. Not a lot has changed when it comes to how I use Instagram stories these days. The main thing that has changed is Reels. Reels has been around for quite a while now, and I love Reels. I'm a big TikTok fan as well. I'm going to get onto TikTok in a minute, but I am really enjoying utilizing Reels in my Instagram content for my photography business. I don't use it that much. Like, I will make the odd reel, probably one or two a week, and I look for trending audios and I use behind the scenes footage and just showcase what it's like to work with me on set. A really big tip for using and making reels is trending audios. I've mentioned it already, but I am always utilizing trending audios to boost the visibility of my reels. I actually have noticed a huge difference in doing this, and I'm gonna link an account below to, I think she's called Eve Longfield, who I take my trending audios from. She shares them openly and she shares them with her audience. Every week she makes a new list of trending audios, and there's always something useful in there for me, so I really recommend following Eve and following her trending audios. And the other thing that I have been experimenting with when it comes to social media is not relying 100% on my visibility to be purely organic. That means that I am dabbling in using Facebook ads and Instagram ads for my Instagram profile. This is something that you absolutely don't have to do, but the way that the internet is going, everything is so overcrowded, and getting seen is harder and harder. We all know this. We've all felt this, right? And whilst I never ever rely on social media to get me my work, it is a way to remain front of mind. That's what I look at Instagram as. It's a way to remind people that I'm around, that I exist, so that when a job does come up, they think of me. So I'm using visibility ads through, which is a technique that I learned through my friend Neve Taylor. I have linked her course below. It is so good. Everything I've learned about Facebook ads has come directly from Neve, and it's been such a game changer. Content that I post, which previously wouldn't have got that much traction, I'm now getting way more views on, and I'm getting way more visibility on just through doing this. And it's costing me like £5 a day. And I do this infrequently. I'll do it for a few days, turn them off, do it again for a few more days, turn them off. And I am noticing a difference. I can't say I can directly link Facebook ads to booking work yet, but I can definitely say that it's bringing me more eyeballs onto my work. And in the competitive world that we're in, when we're all competing for eyeballs on our work, I think this is something that is potentially useful. And it's early days. I'm going to still continue experimenting with it. And if you want me to do a whole episode down the line about how I'm using Facebook ads, I absolutely will do when I have something more to share on that. The other thing that I have recently done, and you may have seen this if you follow me, it's at Olivia Bossard, is I had a rebrand done. This is something I've wanted to do for a really long time. I hired the same person that did my rebrand for this business, Olivia Bossard Education. She did the rebrand for Olivia Bossard Photography, and it's stunning. And I've now got beautifully branded content for everything, my website, my Instagram, and I have changed my profile picture to being the logo and my brand colors, which is very early days still, but I really want to have people associate the color that is now my brand color, it's a lilac, with me. So I've made my Instagram profile picture my logo and my brand color. And I do think it's like popping out a lot more than just having an image. It's grabbing people's attention, and I feel like it's making me feel like even more of a business owner, which we are. I think that we are first and foremost creatives, but we forget that we are also business owners as well. So that's been really exciting for me, and I'm excited to continue growing this brand even further. Okay, I do need to touch on Facebook because although I'm using Instagram heavily, Meta, I don't touch Facebook. It's not something I ever use. I have an active Facebook page, but I never post to it. I only need it there because of having the ads and having some kind of presence. So I've updated the Facebook page to represent me and have links for me, but I absolutely am not touching it, and I'm not paying any attention to it. I am a firm believer that it's better to focus on one or two platforms that you enjoy using than trying to spread yourself too thin and be everywhere, because I don't think that works and you end up resenting it. I've dabbled with Reels, with Threads, for example, and Threads just hasn't been something that I've enjoyed. It's not that it wouldn't work. And if you are someone who likes to express yourself with words as well as visuals, I would highly recommend looking into Threads, because some of my friends in the business world have seen huge traction from using Threads, which I just can't get into. I'm not interested in using that form of social media. And the same with Facebook. I'm not interested in using it. So use the social media platforms that you enjoy and not the ones that you don't, and do a good job of the ones you are enjoying, and you will see so much more result from doing that than you would if you were like pushing yourself to do something you weren't enjoying. Okay, TikTok. Let's talk about TikTok. TikTok is a place that I really enjoy spending time. It's an app that I genuinely look forward to going on. It's a guilty pleasure. I spend a lot of time watching book talk reels, book talk TikToks, and Formula One TikTok accounts, all those kinds of things that I really enjoy. But I also obviously follow photographers on TikTok, and it is so engaging to see how people share what they do behind the scenes, how they're going about shoots. And there's a few people I'm going to link below who do a fantastic job on TikTok of sharing their content. I've interviewed Holly before on this podcast, and I will link that episode as well. She is a huge TikTok creator. She doesn't post frequently, but when she does, it is fantastic content. So highly recommend getting on TikTok. But how would you use TikTok as a photographer in the way that photographers should use it? How would I recommend? TikTok is still, I think, one of the best places to see growth organically without having to pay for Facebook ads. It is still where TikTok pushes you out to the most amount of people as possible. And for that reason, if you are someone who wants to get seen by lots of people fast, TikTok is definitely the place to still do that. However, I'm going to come at this with a warning, and this is for every single social media you do. I am a photographer first and foremost, but I have a separate business, which is what you're connecting with me on here, which is the education business. Therefore, I create content for photographers on my TikTok, which is my education account, and the education Instagram account. You will never see me create content directed towards photographers on Olivia Bossert, because I am not speaking to photographers on that account. I'm speaking to brand owners. I'm speaking to people who hire photographers. And unless you want to start an education business for other photographers, your content on any social media platform should not be teaching photography. I see it all the time. Photographers think that they are going to attract clients by creating content about flash and about being in a studio setup and how to take the best image, when actually all that's going to do is attract more photographers to you. That's not what you want. You want to find a way to create content that appeals to people who are hiring photographers. And it's not the most straightforward and easy thing to think of, but it is possible. So here's what I do as a photographer who is looking to attract clients on TikTok. I do have a separate account. It's at Olivia Bossard on TikTok. It doesn't get used a huge amount, but it's the same as Reels. You're basically just wanting to create content that showcases behind the scenes of your shoots, how you're shooting, what it's like to be on set with you, talking about your life and your likes and your dislikes, and creating a bit more of a personal brand than you are an education brand. Because ultimately, people hire people they know, like, and trust. And TikTok is a place for you to do that. So use TikTok as a place to share videos about who you are as a photographer, the kind of work that you create, the inspiration behind what you create, the ideas you have, voiceovers about shoots without going into too much detail about the how, and also create personal brand content about your day-to-day life, because I truly think that that is what's going to make you stand out. And then I'm finally going to talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is still the social media that I think is not used strongly enough by photographers, especially fashion photographers. And it's because it doesn't feel like the creative resource that we're all used to. It's a very different platform, but it is the most professional platform there is. And it is such a great place to showcase the work that you create with people who are directly in your industry. I make a point of curating my LinkedIn account with as many people who are purely in the hiring positions of who I need to be hired by, and nothing else. So I'm really sorry if you're a photographer and you reach out to me. It's highly likely that I won't connect with you unless I really, really recognize your name and we've chatted loads. But I try to keep my LinkedIn, because I purely use my LinkedIn for my photography and not for education. I try to keep it very much connected to who is going to hire me, who do I need to connect with and showcase my work to, who is going to be looking for people like me. And then on LinkedIn, I share content around what I'm doing. I don't post there regularly. It's probably once or twice a week, but it is new work. It is behind the scenes content. It is videos of my shoots. Sometimes it's taking reels I made and repurposing them onto LinkedIn. I also spend a lot of time on LinkedIn just connecting with people, literally sending direct messages, commenting on posts, checking out people who I could connect with and actually sending them connection requests. Building your network on LinkedIn is going to be so valuable to you in the long term. And if you're not doing it yet, you're missing out, I promise you. There's not a lot that has changed about how I'm using LinkedIn in 2024. I'm still just showing up regularly. I'm still posting regular work. I'm still connecting with people on a regular basis, and it is still getting me work. You can continue using LinkedIn the same way that you always have been if you are using it right now, or if you've never used it before, just start. Start adding people as your connections. Start adding people who will hire you. You can start with also, people you know and people who are in your general circle to build out your network a little bit, but focus on connecting with people like producers, marketing directors, social media managers, PR agencies, people who are hiring photographers, not other photographers. You can also use LinkedIn to connect with your peers, so colleagues, hairstylists, fashion stylists, makeup artists, producers who literally just produce shoots, things like that. They are going to be so useful, and I really, really urge you to log into LinkedIn on a regular basis. I see job offers for freelancers going up on LinkedIn all the time. People looking for recommendations for photographers, and you can comment and say, I'm a photographer. I have genuinely booked work this way and it has worked so well. So don't underestimate LinkedIn and the power of it. If you're not actively spending time on it on a weekly basis, make that your goal for the rest of this year. As of time of recording this, it's only May. There's still more than half of the year left to go, and you can absolutely nail LinkedIn in 2024. Don't underestimate it.